big Man United. This is what you need in a cup final. People are going to rise up and do things. Not no man divided. Smash the love, man. Come on. Excellent Reds up the third. You got active Man United fans, you're done. And we're live. In fact, let's do that again. Mic check 1 2 1 2. And we're live, people. Deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Big up you lot on Twitch. One love if you're on YouTube. Please smash the like button, get your thoughts in, etc. It's a pleasure to have you. If you're new here, make sure you're subscribing now. What are you lot saying, people? I hope you're all having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, or night. We're going to go over Mikel Arteta's press conference in the final game of what has been a long and draining season, people. Obviously, there's transfer news. We've actually been linked with Rodrygo again, Julián Alvarez, all them isms and schisms, people. Now, I think I speak for every football fan, much less Arsenal fan. I'm sure you want signings. Go and get the players in, people. First things first, and what I want to address is evidently the elephant in the room. We saw them lot down the lane, down the road, better yet, win a trophy, people. Now, where do I start? Again, I'm a fan of the sport. I'm a fan of Arsenal second. I'm a fan of the sport. I am a Chelsea hater, Spurs hater, everything. But I'm not an illogical hater. The first thing I would say is, like life, football mirrors society, right? Or life mirrors football and football mirrors life. The past brings regrets. The future brings uncertainty. There's no time like the present. Bear that in mind, people. You don't know what the next day brings. At the end of the day, yeah, there's been many a team this season that's had different contexts, and they've, Spurs have won. By all means, call them bottlers, Spursy, all of that. And, as much as I like that sort of stuff, you have to give them the praise and the same sort of energy. They stood up to be counted. They're missing certain players. It was a stinky game, but their players wanted it. Their players were united. Ironically, certain men were divided. And that's why I guess at this moment in time, the Spurs chickens are clucking and Arsenal are clutching, people. Credit where due. I'm not an idiot. I think they did what they needed to do. They won. They've painted themselves in history. The manager, all of those players there. Unfortunately, I live right next to the Spurs Stadium. So, yeah, I'd say probably from 10 a.m., 11 a.m. tomorrow, it's going to be roaring, and rightly so. By all means, do I not give a crap about Spurs, but I was on my way home, and it's why you love football, really and truly. Like even not Spurs, but my Tottenham supporting friends. It actually is nice to see my Tottenham supporting friends and family away from the club that they support, just as fans of the game, be happy, because that is what it's about. Obviously, you can do all of this. They had a better season, and who had a better season, and all of this. Clearly, there's a lot of issues at Spurs. Clearly, they're 7th, 16th, 17th, 18th. They need to build on that, but they've got themselves into the Champions League. They've won a trophy, and they've kind of painted a good picture for themselves. And again, not just them. They've ended their 17-year drought. Crystal Palace have obviously ended their drought. Newcastle the same. Bologna, Go Eagles, several. So credit to them, really and truly. And if any Arsenal fan, and this is, of course, be tribal, hate Spurs, but we're meant to be fans of the sport. You have to applaud the winners and condemn the losers. Postecoglou and his team got it right. Man United got it wrong. I mean, London-based Manchester United fans, there's no way you could be upset. Actual Manchester United fans around the world and those based in Manchester, I understand why you're vexed. But there's no way on God's green earth, that if you're a London-based Manchester United fan, you could be upset, because you lot, in the same way you lot used to twerk for City and they dumped a treble on your head back at Wembley when Gundogan scored, I call you lot Spurs Chester United. You twerk for Spurs week in, week out. And you were nice enough to present them a trophy. Now, Amorim got several things wrong. Obviously, if things went right for United, you'd be a genius, or you'd be, I'm not going to say the word. Don't know how Mason Mount started. I think Garnacho was one of their better players. Luke Shaw, to see Luke Shaw at Man United in 2025, much less a footballer for Manchester United and starting games, it says everything, really and truly. I think Spurs got the goal. Of course, it was a stinky game. We expected that. Spurs have beat them 4 times. It was a stinky game. Don't think they had any shots on target, really, apart from the goal. But Spurs got the goal. They absorbed the pressure. Postecoglou, who's seen as not changing his tactics, they were difficult to break down. For Manchester United, it's on brand. It's individual brilliance, which was absent yesterday. Terrible. Really, you got Ahmad receiving it on the halfway line. Garnacho, probably one of their better players. Casemiro, who turned his Man United career around, kind of reverted back to what we've seen of him. Bruno Fernandes is a no-show. Harry Maguire is more concerned with trying to fight Romero. Romero's got you on strings, if I'm honest with you. And it's horrible for them, for Man United. For Spurs, I don't know how much, if anything, it impacts how they review their season, how, you know, bringing in players. But you have to say congratulations. In the same way, had they have lost, we would have been given them verbal. So you have to be gracious. You have to be fans of the sport first and your club second. And I know that's difficult for my club, Arsenal, to accept. But one, we can't control things. Two, this is it. Three, at the end of the day, our team should have done what we needed to do, and all the others that have won trophies have done what they've needed to do. We haven't. Winners win and losers explain. So that is why we're at where we're at, and that's why, unfortunately, Arsenal fans are clutching and the chickens are clucking, man. So yeah, that's the loss I'll say on that, man. Of course, I would have loved for Spurs to lose, but in the grand scheme of things, bro, it could have went either way going into the game. Smelly game. Spurs did what they needed to do. Players are immortalized. If again, fuck Spurs, but I would say for my friends and family that support Spurs, actually for Son Heung-min and Postecoglou, wavy quotes. They did what they needed to do in it, really and truly. And Man United couldn't quite gate crash their way into the Champions League. So it is what it is in that regards, man. That's the last I'm going to say on that, really. But yeah, congratulations to Spurs. You can be a hater, but you can't be an idiot. Congratulations. Simple as that. So yeah, moving away from that, Spurs have more European pedigree than Arsenal. To be fair, we knew that before the game. They've got more European trophies than us. They've got 2 more than us. They got 4. We've got 2. If you're over the age of 30, touching 40, you've probably seen Spurs win an FA Cup, win in Europe before. So yeah, not much is changing, really and truly. But yeah, Spurs fans deserve it, innit? They've ended their 17-year drought. You know, you look at Newcastle, you look at Spurs, you look at Crystal Palace, Bologna, Go Eagles. They've ended their drought. They do what they needed to have done. Everybody's situation is different. Obviously, my football club, we're on a 5-year drought. Puts things into perspective when you see the amount of years that other teams have gone through. Everyone's situation is different. If we want to reach the Holy Grail and these players want to immortalize themselves, then everybody's got to have a long, hard look at themselves. Simple as that. Of course, you was cheering for them, Marcel. I get it. The game's the game. You're a Liverpool fan. To be fair, Liverpool and City fans, they probably living it up yesterday, innit? Really and truly. If I'm going to smash the likes if you're new here and subscribe. Loving the playing down by Arsenal stands 4-1 on the trophy. On the European trophy front is brazy. I ain't playing it down. Congratulations to Spurs. Obviously, fuck Spurs with everything I got. But again, I'm a hater. I'm not an idiot. Like, fair play. But we knew Spurs had more trophies in terms of Europe than us before the game. We knew it after. It's just down to us to go better and go on our own little dry, isn't it? Really and truly. And it's nice to see you got something in your cabinet as well, Riley. I got to sprinkle in something like that. I must admit, when I was going home Barcel, I was hearing the Spurs fans. They're like, champions, you haven't seen that. Light work, man. Light work. Oh, Arsenal got there. We beat Madrid trophy. So jealous. Fair play, man. Rise up your trophies. Come on, my guy, man. Fair enough. Do your thing. But if it's gonna get awkward if Arsenal bring out all their trophies, man. Come on now. By all means, run up the jokes. But yeah, man. Bro, please, let's just focus on us. I'm always focused on Arsenal Football Club. I don't really care what's going on around us, but I'm a fan of football. We all watched the final. Had Spurs have lost, would have been bare energy and no one would have said focus on us. So yeah, give them their praise. Same way if United won, really and truly. DG, I'm burning, bro. There's no way for you to be burning. As a South London gunner, Man United winning would have been much worse. I mean, you can see why South London's in the bid, and my team, Arsenal, came over to North London because what on God's green earth is that, man? And to be honest, where Manchester United fans are concerned, word to Haaland, stay humble, because I'm sure we've seen the Man United content creators, those on the net, those that we know in our personal life. Every fan base has mutants, but Man United fans are the kings of watching other people's pot of rice while theirs are burning. I've never seen, especially Man United in particular, their fans are so concerned with whether Mikel Arteta is the right guy or wrong guy. Ruben Scammerwin wasn't able to do that, you know. And I must admit, I would have paid good money to see Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand plays up to cameras. Gary Neville's fucking twat. So yeah, man, I don't know about that though. It would have been better for Manchester United to have won, but they didn't do what needed to be done. Like, Second half was all United, but really and truly, it's just huffing and puffing. Like, you're not breaking them down. Credit to Mickey van der Ven. I actually would give man of the match if I had a sort of comment. I'd give it to Richarlison. I thought he put in a bloody shift. Van der Ven did his thing. Vicario did his thing, and that's what you got to do in a final. You got to forget the past and what's going on in all the other competitions and all of the things that's going on, and you just got to rise up. And they did that, really. So yeah, man, it is it is, really and truly, man. It's got to keep it moving. The power shift in North London has begun. Fair enough, North London. You know what? Fair enough. Let them do that, man. Let them do that, bro. Pick them up, but none of this is anything to do with me. London's white. Fair enough. Talk your shit, Mark. You're always here. Fair enough, bro. DG, I'm glad I don't have to hear them Red Devil Illuminati United fans talk about Martin and Heathen being better than Wanyeri and Skelly. Bissouma was great too. Consistency is his problem, but he's ace when he's at his best. I mean, that's the goal of life, isn't it? I guess we're all good. You know, if there was in all of our working lives, 5 days a week, you know, if we've got the ability, you've got to do it for 5 days in a working week. There's no point being at your job being the greatest person from 9 to 5 on Monday if you're not hitting your targets in the others. Seems a good player. Seems one that mixes opinions with Spurs fans. Going to what you're saying there is consistency, really. I think every player's got a bunch of them. Arsenal have 13 league titles. I don't give a F about Europa League. Spurs last title before I was born. Bro, if you're older than the age of 30, you've seen Spurs win in Europe before. I've seen Spurs win 2 trophies and finish ahead of us in a couple seasons. It is what it is, man. Arsenal on the longest trophy drought of all Big Six teams. You won't be saying that. You won't be saying that on Saturday because you're talking about Arsenal winning stuff in Europe. You won't be saying that on Saturday. We got Barcelona in the Champions League final. And it's down to Arsenal to put that right. Simple as that, man. Big up yourself, Mark, man. I'm a hater, but we're not idiots here. We have I can only speak on our platform. This is our community. This is our football team. We have a laugh and a joke, and I'm a big fan of praise and critique fairly. Like, and that's one thing I always say this, you know, I'm a broken record. I find it quite boring with social media. I find things become mundane, like this season's better than yours, your one's this, you're that. Spurs did their thing. It's as simple as that. For Man United, boy. Well, to be honest, obviously Spurs won, but whoever lost this, it's a reminder of how shit the season is. This is like it's like a last chance saloon kind of thing. Suddenly you're in the champs. It doesn't negate from where Spurs' season is and everything in the Premier League and whatnot. And they're going to have to fine tune that. But that's for Daniel Levy, Postecoglou, if he's going to stay, and all of them guys to do tomorrow, really, to make sure that, you know, maybe, God forbid, but Spurs win a trophy when you're in the top 4 or fighting for a title, etc. For Man United, boy, and they're dark for Man United. You're not in the Champions League. I don't know what budget you're working with. A bit like, obviously, Arsenal have new age problems because as much as people banter us, again, laugh and a joke, keep the laugh and joking going on. Let's be a bit serious. If Arsenal are being laughed at about not getting over the line and finishing second and all of this, by all means, banter us. But we have to, by default, be a quite decent team, right? You're not going to ask shit teams to win trophies. I know one did yesterday. We need to find a way to do that. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Got to find a way to do that. Big up Spurs, unfortunately. But yeah, man, away from that, I would have preferred Man United to win, but Man United fans weren't humble enough. Like, you see, Man United fans actually weren't humble enough. They actually were not humble enough. They were doing all this. We win a trophy, lads. It's Spurs. It's this, that, the third. I saw a lot of fighting talk away from the obvious, right? Fighting talk from Postecoglou, from Mickey van der Ven. It just, you got the impression, for obvious reasons, you know, Spurs are doing a parade, United are not. It meant a bit more, and that's what it should be in the final. I personally think Man United fans should be refunded. I think match day fees should go to charity. I actually think Postecoglou. If I was Postecoglou, I'd leave, by the way, completely off topic. I'd leave. Word to Nines, quit while you're ahead. You're at the pinnacle. You've done something that Jose and Conte couldn't. Yeah, you might want to win more, but safe. I would leave now and say, listen, safe. Amarin, like, United is dark. I don't know how much it costs to clip Amarin from his job. I don't know how much this affects their ability to sign players. Obviously, they've got a bunch of players on big wages. You got Jadon Sancho and Rashford. No one knows what their future's saying. Technically, Anthony as well, who could do something. A bit like when Arsenal was a mess, like proper mess. These are first world questions now. We're only being bantered of not getting over the line. I'm not saying that to be happy. My point of saying that is to say this: you don't get to where Man United are at this moment in time or when Arsenal were 8th, or any team that's been disillusioned or been poor. You don't get there overnight. It's a season or seasons or a series of bad decisions on and off the field to get to that front. And to be fair to you, man, Radcliffe, boy, you know what? He's probably laughing because he saved a bit of money. Do you know what, Amarin? I'm not even going to buy you because did you not pay for some of the staff to go over there? It's absolutely crazy. And if I was a Man United fan, away from the obvious, like what happened and whatnot, I'd be peed off with a lot of talking after the game. Garnacho, you'd have to jump in a ring with me and we do this boxing thing because you're not necessarily wrong in what you're saying, but come on. Amarin's doing the in 48 laws of power, the surrender tactic. He's doing the leave with no compensation. Bruno is chatting as well. There's too much chattings. Amarin, I don't like the do you know what? Isolate that away from a final, yeah. I see the same things every week from Man United. It looks like individual brilliance. Looks like they're winging it. They can't sit here and talk about players not being there. I don't want to praise Spurs, but they're missing several players. Son was on the bench. Obviously, he came off it. Maddison didn't play a part. You get where I'm going with it, really and truly. How far does that go? Luke Shaw, boy, Luke Shaw, horrible. Mason Mount, horrible. Casemiro, no show. Bruno Fernandes, no show. Ahmad receiving it on the halfway line. Felt sorry for you. Don't know what you're expected to do in that regard. Lenny Yoro, I think, was one of the better players as well, but you're saying that about a youth, man. The less said about Onana, the better. I was actually on the Sun, big up the Sun, doing a watch along people, and people were accusing me of being a Spurs supporter. I was like, I can't deny what's in front of me. Anyone that gives the monkeys, yeah, go back to the start of that stream. Within the first 30, I actually said, I tweeted it as well. I thought Spurs would win. It's the year of the underdog. It just felt like it's one of those things, people. The minute the game's kicked off, I said anyone that plays against Onana has a chance. You could clearly tell balls into the box, uncertainty, and obviously what led to the goal from a Spurs perspective, they made it happen. From United, it was terrible, but there was a couple of balls in the box where, you know, like there was one where Lenny Yoro's dealt with it, but you're looking at your keeper, open your mouth, speak. You're not speaking. So it was on brand with Man United. No tactics, individual brilliance, winging it, and Postecoglou and Spurs done everything they needed to do, man, really and truly. So yeah, man. And you know what, Man United, it's one thing bantering Spurs, boy, losing a final to Spurs, darkness. You lot might be there, little bros, but as I said, London-based Manchester United fans, keyword, London-based Man United fans, all they do is support Spurs, Chester United. So you lot can't be vexed. London-based Manchester United fans, you can't be angry that you lost. In many ways, you won. You can't be vexed about yesterday, brother. And again, I must admit, you can sit here and say we've had a better season or Dave, the trophy doesn't mean anything. But for the fans, it does. Spurs want to win trophies. Arsenal want to win trophies. Obviously, we're adjusted. We're being killed for not winning in 5 years. Obviously, they've ended it now at 17. But it's about trophies. And when you see how the fans are going, that's all it means. Now, for the clubs, it's very different. It is what it is, man. 17th in Europa League is better than second. Winning a trophy is, I don't know about that. You've had a better European campaign than us. 100%, and your fans are definitely a lot more happier than us. In the same way, that would have been flipped for Man United. But yeah, man, DG, your team is London's little bros. Us, Chelsea, United will have European trophies. We do have European trophies, and let's not make no mistakes. Fair enough, you've got the European trophy. We've been knowing that you had more than us before yesterday. How many prems you got? How many prems you won at your ground? How many trophies you got? Full stop. Run your jokes, like. Tranquillo, man. If you're a Spurs fan in your chat shit, at least smash the like button. I support DGFC. Either way, I'm winning, man. Bro, what's the difference between Arsenal and United? Both talk about excuses. Both just wash. United finished 17th and had a better season than us. Bro, rugby, man. Bruno has to speak, bro. He's the skipper. If he kept quiet, would have been on him. G1, I don't care about that. Because the thing with Man United fans, you lot are so good at micro-analyzing every other team's situations and things. And when this you lot peak, to be fair, I don't think Garnacho's wrong. I just think there's ways to conduct yourself. And I don't think now was the right time. And then you look at your brother's foolishness as well. For what it's worth, the ball was on the floor. Garnacho was, as a neutral, Garnacho was the one you thought, oh, you know what, he might make something happen off that left-hand side. Amarin, I don't know what he's on, man. It's 3 trophies, my boy. It's 3 trophies, man. There's a power shifting. I'm not reading none of this, not these ones no more, man. You lot keep running your silliness, but it's moving on the stream now. Rich, big up yourself, man. These Arsenal fans that are obsessed with everything Arteta says, does, and wants, rather than calling out another trophy this season. No Wembley, no final, no title. There's a lot of people that are committed to hating Mikel Arteta, And let's be honest, there's a lot of cults. None of them are real Arsenal fans. And I'm not talking about those Arsenal fans that, you know, they can see the situation. They might lean towards, yeah, Arteta's my guy. Arteta's fair enough. You've done stuff. You're not the guy. Them fans are excluded. Arteta has a cult. There's always a reason. And for me, do you know what the funny thing is? Away from Arsenal, there's not a bigger fan of Mikel Arteta connected to Arsenal than myself. The difference is you can't make excuses. If you rate, man, when it goes left, you have to ask questions. Too many people are loyal, too loyal to the manager, too loyal to the manager winning than Arsenal winning, and it robs stuff. There's always excuses. Like, winners win and losers explain. Unfortunately, where our season is, we've got no choice but to explain and diagnose it and why did this happen, that happened. Nobody is faultless. I've said this before. Everyone's allowed an opinion. I'm allowed mine. I personally, if anything connected to Arsenal Football Club, away from the fans, I feel sorry for the players. I think they've been ran into the ground. I think they needed reinforcements to uplift this squad going into this season in the summer. I think there was almost like an SOS call by the likes of Declan Rice and everybody in January. They ran into the ground. They slowly but surely out of steam. Someone put a bit more petrol in our car for the 2 games against Real Madrid. At least we got that trophy. We won more trophies than Spurs this year. Shameless thing. Beat City and beat Madrid, the doubles. But on a serious note, ran out, like, they put a little petrol in the car there. All the juice ran out. Simple as that. People can say, oh, we've only got 4 losses, the same as Liverpool. That's cool. Liverpool won the title, blood. Like, it doesn't make sense. It don't make sense. And I think a lot of our losses and points, we've dropped points, has been because we're out of steam, man, are tired and whatnot. I don't need to tell you a lot about the draws. There's always a reason. Like, there's always a reason. And as I said at the start when I was, you know, critiquing Man United and praising Spurs, at this football club, under the current regime, we've not seized the present moment at any point. The last time we did, away from the English Super Cup silliness with the Community Shield, was the FA Cup. We never seized the present. You don't know what tomorrow brings. You don't know what the future brings. The past brings regret. I don't know if you speak to Spurs about where they finished in the league positions. The same for Newcastle, potentially. The same for Palace. They were presented with something in front of them, something tangible, and they went all the way. Yeah, people can sit here and go, oh, but you look at the run they played, Bodo Glimp and Kat Yarabag, and all that's true. But that's not actually Spurs' fault. They still had to actually United to get to the final. They had to do what needed to be done, and they've done that, really. The club, Arsenal Football Club, and I'm not talking about the fans. Fans can be vexed. Forget the fact that you're seeing Spurs and whole heap of Chelsea probably and whole heap of London clubs win stuff. Arne Slot be in the Prem for 2 minutes and win. We never put our best foot forward. Because if there's always an excuse and a reason as to why we like not sign players and this and that, it's issues. All of the issues we faced this season beyond the obvious, we've known they were there. The lack of depth, the lack of quality. You know, certain players, not to dig out Martinelli or Trossard, but them two, we know they're not prolific bagsmen. So how are we still surprised when they get little moments across a season where they're going to score 3, 4, 5 games in a row or something of that ilk and then go quiet? You haven't got a striker. You're playing a makeshift guy up there. I feel sorry for the squad. This is why I feel sorry for the squad. As you know, you can look at the romance with Marino playing up front and what we did against Madrid, but it's in there's no, when you remove the romance and whether you're happy or sad, it don't make sense. You've got another centre mid playing up front. You've got Kivio, big him up. Kivio's coming to the side, nowhere near Magalet, stood up tall. Players have been running to the ground. Players have played with injuries. Young players have stepped up. This is why I said I feel sorry for the fans and the players. Beyond that, I feel a degree of sympathy for Mikel Arteta, but not too much, because people like to act like the man's a damsel in distress. At the end of the day, if he, regardless, and I'm not praising the owners, regardless of what you think about owners, is it fair to say if Mikel Arteta didn't think he could get Arsenal over the line or take Arsenal to wherever he is, why would you take the job in the first place? Why would you sign a new deal? It don't make sense. So how far does that go? It's either you can do it or not. Because you can look, Spurs fans could point to, and clearly it's been 17 years really after that. They could point towards Levy and say this, that, and the third, and a lot of it's true. Postecoglou's found a way to do it. Arteta's found a way to do it before. You missed opportunities. If you lot didn't want to be in this situation, you don't perform across 2 legs how you did against Newcastle. You don't allow yourselves to go out of the FA Cup like you did against Manchester United. Fair enough. You got us past Real Madrid. I don't really blame the play. Well, yeah, little isms and schisms about PSG. But again, I think once you get to a semi-finals of a Champions League, I can't lie, but it becomes about quality. Not saying if Partey started the first leg, we would have been amazing, but you saw how much we had to chop and change, which is going back to the summer. We know we needed depth. We know where that team, and every team could be affected, but if one or two players come out and you have to rejig, like, Marino has to be playing well up front, Ina has to come in midfield because there's no Partey, we can see those effects. Partey weren't amazing in the second leg, but he came back. We pressed up better those first 20 minutes. All of these things we knew. And yeah, it's easy for me as an armchair expert to say this and things like that, but it's the reality of the situation. If nothing changes in this life, So yeah, it is what it is, man. Big up you lot, man. I'm here for the transfer news. Man United and Spurs are so irrelevant. I hear that, man. But it's football, man. And you know what? Win, lose, draw. Arsenal getting bantered, whether you support Arsenal or not. I see some Spurs fans here. Marcel's here, supports Liverpool. John Nancy, United fan. It's a pleasure to be here on YouTube, sharing my love of football. And obviously, Arsenal with you guys around the world, man. So yeah, man, I'm appreciative of it, man. We'll get into all that stuff in a bit. It's like, I always look at streams. It's like, if we're starting a football match, the first 20 minutes, like in streams like this, I like to get comfortable, man. If I'm a fullback anyways in Sunday League, get my touches in out the way, make my little passes, make a 1-2 tackle and whatnot, and then we get into it, man. It is what it is. I hear you though, man. Like, I'm always support my team no matter what, no matter what, but it's just watching them, keeping up to date with them. Like, there's no point of having high expectations like we're going to do anything big. As I always say, for me, I'm a bit of a weird one in that I love Arsenal Football Club. Like, it's clear, innit? But in life, I think you have to find yourself. And I know football's tribal and stuff, but I just think in life, you have to find. I'm very attached to the club, but then also you can't be, because if you're too attached, you can't. Sometimes you need to be able to look at things for what they are. And I would change the club, obviously, but I wouldn't change the club for the world. But I can't control things. We can't do certain things. So just anything else is a bonus. Like, and just, it is what it is. Like, how many times can I get upset about us not doing this in the transfer market and us not that? Unfortunately, I can't have a conversation with Arteta. I can't speak to Berta. I can't speak to the Cronkies. I would love to have a conversation with David Dean as much as I love him, but I can't do none of that. And whatever team you lot support, Spurs, you can't chat to Levy. So it is what it is. United with the Glazers and the Radcliffes and etc. You get where I'm going, people, with it. So it is what it is. DG, we need to fix up in the summer and get over the line. If not, Arteta's minions can get vexed, but we'll have to go and take a punt. I hear all of that, yeah, but even that, God forbid, but if another season, let's assume, yeah, let's skip forward to next season. Let's just assume, yeah, that the same thing happened in that you might beat a Real Madrid or Barca, great night at the office, but end of the day, you've got 2 semi-finals. We hope it's a bit better in the league, but you're second, you're not over the line, and I'm missing out one of the cup competition, FA Cup, we go out. If the exact same things happen, obviously the sentiment with some fans, even the most loyal of Arteta fan, is going to be like, yo, do you have to try something? But is that going to be the case? If you fast forward and the exact same thing happens, is Arteta going to be sacked? Is he going to walk? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to walk, because I don't know where he's at, but is he going to be sacked? Because you're going to have to pay up his compensation, pay up his coaches, and next manager comes in. Yeah, you can look at this base of this football club. We've got some good players. We're not as good as we think we are. We're not as terrible as we think we are. There's a little base there to be built upon. But for argument's sake, and I'm exaggerating, if that new manager comes in, whoever that is, I see someone say Simeone, I hear someone say Nagelsmann, whoever you want, that manager has to be reserved the right of the same old quote unquote excuses or stuff that you say for new managers. He needs time. He needs his own squad. And I'm really exaggerating with this. But what if the manager says, I don't like David Raya. I don't like Declan Rice. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't like Saka. I'm exaggerating. He's going to have to be allowed to mix and blend. And again, what I'm getting at is, if the same thing happens next season, everyone's not going to be united in let's make a change, because some people are loyal to seeing this Arteta thing through to the end, hoping we get over the line. And logically, I think I speak for most Arsenal fans. Why on God's green earth would you not want it to work under Arteta with these existing players? Why wouldn't you? But at some point, something's got to change. And that's the difference with me, who's a fan of Arteta and his coaching philosophies, and someone that's an apologist. Because the thing is with Arteta, we're doing 2 projects. And the worst thing is going to happen is, I think Arteta is going to win trophies. Not stay with me. I'm not talking about Arsenal. I think he's going to be a good coach. I think he's going to win trophies. I think he's got, I think for someone that's been managing, exaggeration, but 2 minutes, you've got a lot of experience that you're good and bad. And for someone that's been in the Champions League for 2 years as a coach, you've done all right. The issue with it for me is I don't care if you win Champions League, Premier League, World Cup, doubles and that, unless it's at this football club. That's it. And some people are too loyal to that. That's why I think we're not as bad as we think we are. We're not as good. The issue has been in the last 2 years, really, because we did go into last season with expectation, get over the line. Last season, a lot of obviously it's changed a bit because how it's played out. But last season, there was a belief of, yo, don't get over the line, don't get a trophy, conversations need to be had. You have to be cruel to be kind. And for me, I try and look at Arsenal with no romance, good and bad. Just look at what's in front of us. Look at the previous teams that have won stuff, what we can learn from stuff and what we're missing. There's not enough. You see, if we want to be a team that gets to, I keep saying this all the time, if you want to be a bridesmaid and never the bride, we've got enough, you know, because we stunk up the place by our own previous 2 seasons in the Prem. Still Champions League, 2 little semi-finals, doing what we need to do. You got enough. If you want to do that, you've got enough. See, if you want to get over the line, you need to be able to answer questions. You need a player that can do what Saka does on the left, or at least provide 50% of that. You need a number 9. You need different options in midfield. Your manager needs an ability to pivot and tweak and change things and find that balance. Unpopular opinion, a manager does have to be stubborn to their principles. As you saw with Postecoglou, you do have to be stubborn to certain things. But life is a contradiction, right? So you also need to know when to change things, and the manager needs to be promoted to change that. I don't think that's the case. There's too many fair weather players here. Throughout a 38-game season, the majority of the players that we can bet on, give or take, are going to do it for 30 to 35 of those games. And again, people get injured, people lose form, people make mistakes. This is football. The man, they are human beings. But how many of the players are you going to see? What should we say out of 10? Is it fair to say a 7? How many of these players are going to give us a 7 out of 10 for the majority of them 38 Premier League games? Because, yeah, Spurs have won the trophy. We haven't. But again, away from who's had a better season or whatever. And I'm focusing on Arsenal. You can talk about semi-finals and, of the 4 competitions we've competed in. The Champions League, obviously we didn't win it, but it's probably been our best performance. Tumped up Sporting, tumped up PSV, dealt with Real Madrid. Didn't get embarrassed against PSG, gave them some things to worry about. Technically beat them, but, went out. But we're missing something, aren't we? Like, the league is the barometer. You're gonna win some games playing poorly. You're gonna win when you deserve to lose. You're gonna lose when you deserve to win. You're gonna draw when you deserve more or less. Then, for vast majority of that, you're going to win and lose, the fair amount of points. That's the barometer. We have regressed or stagnated. I personally would go with regression. Either way, I don't want to get caught up on this. Whether you want to talk about regression or stagnation, that's your business. I keep giving the same example. If we pretend we're in a car, yeah, obviously forward and progress is going that way. Like, you can see me going towards the camera. Stagnation would be this, right? Staying still, just like that. Just foot on the clutch, going nowhere for no reason. And ultimately, the car's going to stall. So you could make a case. Regression is going backwards. Whether you think it's regression or you think it's stagnation, comment in the chat, smash the like button, let me know. The bigger question is, are either the direction that you want to go? The club was complacent. Forget what other teams have done. Focus just on our football club, Arsenal. The team was everybody rested on their laurels. And this is why I say I feel sorry for the players. I'm past the point of Arteta wanted players and they didn't give it to him, or they were suggesting players and they didn't. We talk about collaboration and winning through harmony. You're all in this together. Didn't do what needed to be done in the summer. And again, above Mikel, that's in the summer, which Arteta has to hold. I look at January and I can talk about the gaffer, I can talk about the players. I'm talking about those above now, because that's where if you own a business and the man there at the top are the serious ones, 9 times out of 10 serious things are going to happen. That told me everything I needed to know for what this club wants to do. You lot said, you know what, worst comes to worst, we're going to get Champions League and we'll wing it. Because if I assume Mikel Arteta didn't want players, if I assume he didn't want players in January, if you're a serious club, you say, forget all of that. I don't care what you want. We can see that we can claw back our season and we don't have enough. Players have been ran into the ground. People, obviously, I'm not, I know the medical staff and all these guys, nobody's trying to get players injured. Everybody's doing their right thing. But again, and I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, because I'm not. I definitely am not, or I wouldn't be here. I'd be working over there and you wouldn't hear a damn thing from me. But you look at the amount of injuries, not just Arsenal Football Club, everybody, like whether you've had one major injury or 10 million, yeah, Player welfare is not, they're not the footballing gods, or not even the gods. The footballing world doesn't care about players, bro. Let's have that right. They don't care about players' fitness. These men are guinea pigs. The more games they run, the bigger they expand competitions, the more money these lot get. Yeah. You look at, and just focusing on my team or majority of your players, it's fair to say the majority of the top six, give or take, or the bigger clubs and whatnot, you know, the vast majority of the players that we all have here, whether you support Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, so on and so forth, yeah, the vast majority of these players, give or take, are international footballers, right? So they're going to be playing a lot of games for club and countries, and I always focus on the English players. They're South American dons, Africans, Asians, so they're flying all over the world and whatnot. The vast majority of these players have played in international tournaments in the last 2 years and played a lot of club football. Any coincidence that people are breaking down? My point being, the squad was not armed. It was not adequate. You're going into a gunfight, quote unquote, knowing a bit of martial arts and having a blunt knife, a blunt butter knife at that. You might be able to hold off 1-2 man, punch up 1-2 man, but you get it. You know what's gonna happen, bro. Is what it is, man. And to be fair, if I was a Spurs fan, yeah, nobody don't give a monkeys about the Super Cup, bro. I big up Durag Diaries. You know what? People, you know what? I know George trolls, yeah, and fuck his team, but he's one of the good ones, man. And that's what I mean. I must admit, like, seeing again, fuck Spurs and all of that stuff, but seeing the joy on my friend's face and my family's face, and my niece called me today, actually, before school. She's a Spurs fan, unfortunately, like her dad. It's nice to see you lot happy, in it. Like, fuck your club, but it is what it is, man. And boy, it's on my doorstep, man. Like, what is it? It's all the way from Emerton Green over there, and they just, away from that, you lot are just fucking up the roads, man. Like, you can't drive now. Like, I don't even know what it's looking. Last night it was mad. I was walking up and down. It was, I must admit, it was mad. I should have got some footage. It was mad. All the way from flipping like Tottenham, hell, all the way to Emerton, really. It was mad. Tomorrow, hey, if you're in North London surrounding areas, I'm telling you, if you ain't done what you need to do by 9 a.m., don't move your car, because from early morning to early night, they're gonna move mad. Bearing in mind it's a bank holiday weekend as well. They're gonna be moving mad. Then they're playing on Sunday. It's madness. And to be fair, yeah, I'm a fan of Maddison, not Spurs, of course. Wait, cut the chat. You lot are violating. 58 likes. Come on, people, man. Big up the 58 of you who've hit the like button. I did like the verbal he was giving Roy Keane, and I did like Roy Keane giving it back, man. Amarin said he would walk with no compensation if they no longer want his services. I do like his defiance. Ange needs to walk and stick 2 fingers up to Levy. He's doing the surrender tactic. Amarin's doing the surrender tactic, man. He's not serious, man. He's not serious, man. And please, whoever we sign, no stupid videos from me. Boy. Big up them, man, there, man. Nah, these Liverpool fans will be raving about Sesko by the end of the season if they get him. Please, but don't let this happen. Are they being relinked? Reports in Catalonia today is Xavi will be announced next week as new Spurs boss, and Gyökeres, Cherki, and Ranieri are top of his wish list when they agreed to take over from Ange. Really? 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 Are you going to enjoy the parade tomorrow? To be fair, my brethren are saying, bro, I'm going to go. Like, do you know what it is? I'm a fan of football, innit? Like sport. So why not, man? Like, was in 08 last time. And to be fair, if you're a Spurs fan in the 40s, in your late 30s to 40s, you've seen your team win an FA Cup. This would be your second European trophy. So that's like 3. Why not, man? It's on my doorstep, man. And I'm not going to say certain man's names. Arnold, Arsenal fan, who was at the Spurs stadium last night to watch the game. They were doing pitch invasions. I seen your snap. Yeah, I ain't seen the European trophy. Big up, Jay, man. But I've seen more trophies than you. Like, don't worry, man. One day, you better pray to God we never win one. But DG, if you're going, make sure you bring a red flare. Hey, I am not trying to fight them geezers, man. Shout out Abby, man. She's actually one of the good ones as well, man. And it is what it is, man. But let's say that now, man. Keep your thoughts coming, but let's say that. So, yeah, we got regression. This Trossard Martinelli situation is ridiculous. And for me, it's a thing where, like, I'm not even criticizing Trossard or Martinelli. I'm past that. Surely, to a degree, yeah, there's a degree of just accepting people for what they are. Like, yeah, we want everyone who's shown a bit of bad form to get good or whatever, but surely there's an avenue to just accept people for what they are. I think Martinelli is very frustrating, but I don't think he's a bad player. I think Trossard, the opinions with our fan base are a bit too, like, I think if you ask like 20 Arsenal fans, like 10 are gonna like him, 10 are not. It's a bit like, even though he's been one of our more consistent players, Thomas Partey, but accept players for they are. Martinelli, you're a squad player. Why are we making you a regular? The same goes for Trossard. Kai Havertz, Marino, you man can chip in up front. You've shown us that and help us in midfield throughout the course of a season. But you man are not starters. Get some starters in. You know Saka needs help. We need to be a bit cute and clever with him, Magalhaes, etc. I'm not a physio, but can we really be surprised that, again, going back to the point I said about bare football being played, that, well, Declan Rice has played with a broken toe, but any surprise that you've seen Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Magalhaes, now William Saliba all play with an injury? Even Julián Timber, he's picked up a couple of knocks this season and still soldiered it. I look at Timber and Ben White. I'm not a physio. This is just my hot take. I don't think you know how it's come out that, you know, when White had his operation, we were led to believe for a while, yo, White's gonna need surgery. And then I think during an international break when Calafiori came back, the same said for Timber. I don't think the club just woke up, saw something, and said, yeah, you need surgery. They've known about that, which is why, again, people that are officially connected to Arsenal, like contracted, get paid wages by the club, I only feel sorry for the players. I can't sit here and say I feel sorry for Mikel Arteta. To a degree, yeah, if you're crying to the board and they're not helping you, but you've not evolved off your own managerial stuff. You've not written any wrongs. I've learned a lot about my players. There's not a single player I don't rate in that team. Whether I think you're good enough or not, or you're the guy to be here or not, I've always respected them, but I've got a newfound respect for every one of those players, whether they've played or not. Big up yourself, Raheem Sterling. There's got to be a correlation with bringing Raheem Sterling in and getting to a Champions League semi-final. Yes, I am shameless. He's a yard man. I feel sorry for them. And this is the one season, and I say the same things every stream. The bubble burst, bro. Like, you lot were complacent. In life. You know, the journey to heaven feels like hell. The journey to hell feels like heaven. And it has been hell because you've been complacent. You've just assumed that the players, going back to the summer, you just assumed that people whose form was terrible, it's going to get good again. People who are in good form, it's never going to go anywhere. Everything is going to be favorable. There's going to be no refereeing decisions. There's going to be none of that. Where really, there's no point focusing last season going into the summer on, oh yeah, we were 2 points off City. How do we claw that back? How many draws did we have? How many losses did we have? How do we turn those into 3 points? How do we improve? And some of you Arsenal fans that are shaking Batty for a striker, some of you, and I see the usernames here, don't sign a striker. What are we going to do with Kai Havertz? It's too cozy. It's too nice. And if man are on this courageous loser thing, where it's there and it's romantic, great. I'm not saying it has to be negative or positive. I'm just simply saying, as a fan base or as a football club, better yet, brother, remove any emotion and look at it for what it is. That's just me, man. I want a top tier goal scorer. I think you mean scorer, and that's Gyökeres. I'm at the point. I hear you with that, but I must admit, I'm at the point now. Yeah, just bring me a striker, bro. Like, obviously, Gyökeres would be the one for me. I don't think Sesko's a bad footballer. I wouldn't mind him. The impossible dream would be Isak, but I'm past the point now. Like, whether it's Hugo Ekitike, Ollie Watkins, Gyökeres, this one, that one, just brother, sign me my striker, and we'll praise, critique, talk about any optimism or concerns later. Because this summer will tell me everything. Even, don't get twisted, we sign all these players, don't mean we're winning anything. But at least I could say fair enough. And I've said this before, even last summer, if you've done everything we needed to do and the season played out with the injuries and whatnot, I would say, you know what? Fair enough. You've put your best foot forward. Let's review things. But everything's happened in spite. Start as you mean to go on and all that. Well, you know what I mean? If the fans turn, he'll get sacked. The only reason Arteta has so much time right now is because of the cult following. If the fans turn, he's gone. I hear that. But if you're Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, you've survived darker times. You actually have survived darker times. And as the Cronkies have shown before, yeah, when it's looked a bit darker, they ain't done nothing. You've got, I'm exaggerating, but 50% of the fan base will probably, if Arteta jumps off a bridge, they'll follow him with it. You know, 50% are onto him. If you break it down and you have equal percentages and have a middle ground where people are unsure, nothing's going to change, bro. Is what it is. DG, we've been a player or two behind each season. Thing is, we don't actually get what we need. We settled with makeshifts. Either get elite or get out. Tired of next season business where you're taking part in competitions every season. You're required to do one thing, and that's win it. It doesn't matter who you play. You have to lift that trophy at the end. There you have it. I feel like there needs to be a time where no Arsenal fan bothers going to games. No fan pays season tickets until the club becomes relevant again. I agree and disagree. It would force change, but I think that's superficial. At the end of the day, yeah, there's probably been Spurs fans and United fans seeing their team go up and down the country getting bad. But this is football. This is an escape. This is what they love. At the end of the day, we love our clubs, innit? This is what people look forward to, man. There's people that will cheat on their wives before they ever get rid of a season ticket or whatever. There's probably families out there that their kids have special little like swimming lessons and that. There's sons and mums and dads out there that will cancel that before a season ticket. So at the end of the day, we love football in it because it's a sense of belonging, and we all say we don't care when our team's getting ripped and all of these kind of things. Still talking, still waffling. It is the beautiful thing about the game. They did their thing, man. All them teams did their thing. Yeah, the Birds, Bologna, and all them man there as well, man. There's broader issues at Arsenal besides getting a striker. Buying a striker is a necessity, and we also need to strengthen the squad, alter the tactics, and allow individual brilliance to shine. Arteta's got to evolve tactically. He has to. Any Arsenal fan, of course, we probably, at least at the very minimum, probably due to individual brilliance and maybe a striker, because there is a degree of that throughout a season. You just need to be able to win playing shit. We probably still have the same defeats, in my opinion, but we probably don't have them draws. But I do think any Arsenal fan that just thinks, yeah, like the tactics stay the same way. You slap Gyökeres, you slap Nico Williams, Zubamendi, whatever have you into the team, and Bob's your uncle. I think you're going to be, and I hope you're right, because that's a great way to go about it. Why wouldn't I want that to be right? I think you're in for a very, very dark and rude awakening personally, man. And even Berta, I trust you. I've got a lot of time for Berta, but even you, I don't think one man can change everything. I don't know if this will be a Berta summer per se, or it's one where you come out with, yeah, you did your thing, but I don't know if we'll really see the groundworks. And at the same time, I don't want to hear anything, even with Berta. All my trust is with Berta. If you didn't think you could do your job properly, you wouldn't have joined the club. And if you did know that stuff and didn't necessarily believe everything and you signed for the club, why did you? There's all vested interest. We've heard Berta wants the law of the Premier League. We all know what Arteta, for someone that's been managing 5 minutes, managing a big club, cult following, been given a lot of backing. Not that there's been many, but you've gone from being a head coach to a manager. A lot of the things are done in your image. There's vested interest away from obviously the romance of let's try and win something. So here's what it is. Garnacho Arsenal would bang you and Martinelli. Like, brother. There's probably some of our fans that are bold that will probably lose their hair. Imagine Martinelli and Garnacho in the same squad, let alone on the same football pitch. Oh my days. It's not enough evidence for some man that Marino played up front and he's suddenly our best option there. We would have won something this season with Sesko. You guys really cannot fathom how poor Havertz and Jesus are. I don't think if we had a striker, we necessarily win something. I need to see the mentality change. I need greater flexibility. I need a bigger squad. I need to see, not that I want to see my team at their worst, but there needs to be an element of how good are you at your worst? How good are you when there's a dodgy ref decision? The normal protagonist is not happening. We're playing shit. Because I've seen Liverpool do it. Liverpool been good this majority of the season. Right now, they're in holiday mode. Like, it don't really matter what, I'm sure Ancelotti and Liverpool will disagree, but it don't really matter what the results are saying now. There's probably still drunk and high and whatnot of winning. But I've seen them win games when they deserve to lose, draw when they deserve more or less, win when they don't necessarily deserve that. That's needed. The Invincibles had 12 draws. Not say like that tells me sometimes, bro, everything's gone wrong. Is what it is. Sometimes the manager's tactics are going to be crap. It's an individual brilliance thing. We just need to keep it moving. Sometimes the players are going to be shit. The manager's going to have to earn his money and show his flexibility. And until these things are added into where our club is, bro, seasons like this are going to keep following, bro. It is what it is. And I'm past the point of blaming players, bro. It like at the end of the day, yeah, nothing against Kai Havertz, because in line of what you are, you've probably been better than I thought. But we signed you. You're one of our top goal scorers. When you remove the romance, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Is this how you go and do stuff? Certain man used to coach at City. What's going on? And that's why I don't think you can just blame Arteta, just blame the board, just blame the players. Everybody's in this, but it's a pick your poison thing. You're gonna go with whatever agenda fits your narrative. You know, even some people are gonna say, "Oh, Arteta this, that, the other." Some are gonna say, "Oh, you think Arteta wasn't asking for players? He was. This one let him down, that one let him down." Like they're in the fucking offices at London Coley seen half of this. And I'm past all of that. I keep saying the same things. Grandma's house. RIP anyone's grandma who's not here. Mine include, well, nanny. God bless your soul. Or granddads and whatnot. But, you know, for those of you that had that experience of playing with your cousins at nanny's house or granny's house or whatever, you just imagine everybody's having fun, right? Everybody's ramping. You know, you're playing with your little cousins and whatnot. Someone breaks something. Maybe you lot's grandparents would. But if there's 10 of us here and someone breaks something, there's no asking who did what happened. You could have been sat down in the opposite corner just reading the book. You're not involved. You don't even know what's going on. It could have just been one rogue cousin. But they're not going to sit there and ask. Everybody is getting beats. That's the logic this football club needs. I'm a fan. I don't know what Arteta might be asking for players. The board let him down. The board are telling him stuff, whatever. You're all in this together. Same way if you win, big up everybody. I'm sure a lot of Spurs fans want Levy out. At least for 24 hours. They're going to allow him at least. Because he's indirect. I mean, he's the one that found Postecoglou in it. Personally, I'm somewhere in the middle, critical when it's warranted, but also realistic about the process. I think that's where I feel as well. But there needs to be it. Now, I can't lie, Richard. There is a cult following. There is a cult following. And I think on both sides, I definitely think there's a cult following. Again, if we want to stay away from the word cult, I do think there is that. I think there's more younger Arsenal fans that haven't seen Arsenal good. I think there's some older fans that have been bruised a lot of the time. There's defo a cult following. There's two cults. There's just religious hating, as far as I'm concerned. Fuck Arteta. That's how some are. And there's defo a cult, like he can do no wrong. No man in this world is above criticism. No man or woman, nobody on this earth is above criticism and praise. It feels like the manager isn't. It feels like people want to ask questions of everything but the gaffer, and with some. And when we win, it's all the gaffer. And I don't believe in that. We will rate Bukayo Saka, right? Or any top player that you lot have seen in your club if you don't support Arsenal or beyond that. If he scores 10 games, you're going to praise him. If he goes on a 10-game drought, you're going to ask him, well, go on. There's defo a cult, man. And neither, I'm not going to say they're not real Arsenal fans, but I just feel that overly everyone's crap, get rid of everyone, this, that, and the third. That's a cult in itself. Hating is addictive. You know, clowns will always have big circuses. And I therefore also feel there's false prophets. And if, you know, people need to believe in something, you know. And I think people do that. I therefore feel there's stuff. And again, I'm not talking about those Arsenal fans that can say, you know what, I'm not really liking this. I praise you for that. Maybe one more season, maybe we should pull the plug. Them ones that are in the middle that can see that, I think they're the Arsenal fans. It is what it is, man. MA signings don't last. Waste of money seems to evolve a bit, and these players no longer fit the mold. We've wasted a lot of money on things. I said this before now. Arteta, I feel it's almost got a bit Wenger-y. Now, Arteta can never be in the same sentence as Wenger, with the greatest of respect to him, but I think it's got a bit Wenger-y where you ain't got that David Dean figure to pull you in from the madness, like when you're moving too mad. And that's what I need Berta to kind of be. Obviously, Berta is not David Dean. Mikel Arteta is not Arsene Wenger, but clearly our club wants to do that custodian stuff, so they've got to work together. Me personally, I think Mikel Arteta our signings need to be what you need, not what you want. And what I mean by that is, no disrespect to Marino, less said that. Kai Havertz, less said that. Fabio Vieira, less said that. No more projects per se, maybe a bit more polished project. No more polished projects. Get what you need. You need a striker. Yeah, cool. We know what you want from a striker in the modern day. False nine, not even false nine, but dropping deep, link up play, all of that. Gunman, centre mid, depth. This, that, the third. No more multifunctional stuff. You've got projects, work with the projects at the club. Simple as that. If there's money left over and you do everything you need to do in the market, cool. You know what? Bob's your uncle. Do what needs to be done. Because man can sit here and criticize the Cronkies and whatnot. Yeah, they can sit here, and I'm not backing the Cronkies. My point being, everyone's in this. You can boy the Cronkies as much as you want. Say they're letting the club down, and I'm definitely not protecting them. But who gave Arteta the job? Who gave Arteta the job? It was them, no? When he had no CV per se, just based on what you hear at City. They gave him the job. They promoted him from head coach to manager. And it's been backed up to a degree because we've come a long way now. We're just being bantered about not getting over the line, etc., etc. They've allowed you to take a world-class number 6 in Declan Rice, break our transfer record and make him an 8, in which I'm cool with that. Just painting a picture. We all know out of you and Edu, ultimately you won the race. You signed a new deal for 15 mil a year. So it is what it is, bro. Like as much as I don't feel the Cronkies are perfect, and I therefore would love Saudi money and all of this, you can't just blame the Cronkies and act like Arteta's a damsel in distress. Again, the underlining point is everybody's in this together. That's why I said a more rounded project, my boy. I don't really think Rodrygo's a project. Sesko's a more rounded project, I would say. I don't want to have us where you don't know if you can play centre mid, you can play false 9. What are you? Peter, never see you, my friend. Big up you, man. I remember when we used to have DG merch. See you in the display. Appreciate that, my guy. Views on sport, one love. Liverpool fans aren't scared of us signing Rodrygo. They don't need to be scared, bro. I can't lie. I just want to see, above all, I just want to see competency next season. I just want to see competencies. I just want to feel like my striker. You're not perfect. You're going to miss chances, etc. Brother, if it's going to fall to you, take chances. Because we're carrying too many players. We're carrying too many players. We do this weird thing where we take players that should be on the periphery of things and make them squad players. We take squad players and make them regulars. And then we're surprised might not get over the line. Arteta's lost faith in Havertz. He no longer sees him as a centre mid. He was signed as well, sell Havertz. I don't know if he's lost faith, but I hear that. Yes, if Arteta buys a striker in January, we would have won the champs. I think it's a naive way of looking at it. I don't even think we need to shy. Obviously, I want elite players, scary players, guys that sell shirts. But I look at half the teams that have. You look at Liverpool. Obviously, what they've become had in hindsight, or what they've become since they signed for the club, great. But I don't think it. When they signed Mane or Salah or Ronaldo or Van Dijk and Alisson's exceptions, they were signed for big money. Even though people still criticize Van Dijk. When they signed at the point of entry to these football clubs, when they signed these players, the world weren't going, oh my God. But that's testament to Liverpool. You bought the right players with upwards trajectory. Michael Edwards did his thing. Klopp did his thing. Bearing in mind, Klopp wanted Julian Brandt. Certain man wanted Salah. Do you get it? You buy correctly. Of course, I want sexy players and star players. And I'm not a scout. I can't tell you a million players to sign, but just buy the right guys. Stop overcomplicating things. Football games are not won on as much as fans want to do. Arteta coach to win and field tilt and XG and this one and that one, which does paint a picture, but that's not what wins games, because we're seeing the same things week in, week out. Bare domination, bare quote unquote, bare shots. You're not winning the games you need to win. And I'm not saying this because it's trendy. I want to. The only way Arsenal can get over the line is if we take what's good and make it great, and we take evidently the areas of concern and take it to a suitable level. We have a good team. We are a good team. But you want to be a great team. Great teams put themselves down in legacies. We need a functional team, not just individuals. But yo, Deluded, what's happening? I'm in the middle like you, but I'm a positive guy who wants us to do well regardless. I think we need to sign a marquee signing like Gyökeres. It'd be lovely, man. Gyökeres is my one just because it goes against the grain, man. Like, obviously, we have signed, bit different, but Trossard, Jorginho, and all of those kind of things. But we're always signing players that, in theory, could be here for 10 years and whatnot. It'd go against the grain. It's almost like a win now kind of signing. Like, he's 26. Obviously, he's got years to go and whatnot, but you're just here for right now. You're ready to do this thing right now kind of thing. So it is what it is. Keep your thoughts coming, folks. Let's actually get into everything, man. First, we're going to go over Mikel Arteta's press conference. If we've got to do it, people. We've got to. Let's get something stronger in here, mate. Apologies, people. So it's that time of the season, man. It's one of the most annoying times of the season if your team's not in the final. Oh, that's good. Julián had surgery on Tuesday morning on his ankle. He's been feeling that discomfort for many, many weeks. So again, players are playing on injuries. Again, why I say I feel sorry for the players. Nobody can tell me my players don't want it and they ain't tried. Yeah, critique their performances. Players, nothing but respect for you lot. He's been navigating throughout the season with that issue, and it needed to be resolved. So he's going to be out for a while. We hope he's back for pre-season. And Saliba, he felt something in his hamstring in the first half against Newcastle just before halftime. And again, he's going to be out for a few weeks. On Timber, we don't know yet. It will depend on how the recovery goes. It will be weeks, but we don't know exactly how much. Hopefully, it'll be somewhere near the pre-season if everything goes well, but we don't know yet. On Saliba, he said a few weeks. And with it being a World Cup year for players that have a real tangible chance of playing for their countries, you don't want to see any of this. On Havertz's return, he looked very rusty, man. You could tell how excited he was. He's been working so hard again, even to get yourself back fit. I think he's done great with the medical staff to get in shape and in form that he has at the moment. He was desperate to contribute, and I'm pretty happy to see him back. On if there's any update on Partey's future. Has anyone seen him sign a new deal yet? There's some question marks on a few, so we'll have to wait and see. We still have another Premier League match to play on Sunday, and after that, we have some time to sit down and finalize a few things that have to be done. In regards to Thomas, I think consistency-wise, it's been his best season. I think the way he's played and performed, his availability has been exceptional, and he's a really important player for us. On if Raya was one of the best decisions we've made, we make the decision with that intention, but at the time, it was a very unpopular one. Again, the manager's paid to make unpopular decisions. That worked at the time. Not saying Ramsdale was perfect, but that weren't where the man were looking at to improve. You got that one spot on. Big up David Raya, who I think some of our fans are getting on. I don't think he's perfect. Definitely not. But we've got way bigger problems and, ironically, word to Robbie, fish to fry in terms of recruitment and outgoings before anyone can point any finger at David Raya. Of course, if we had everything we needed and there was that top level keeper available and an upgrade, why wouldn't you want to upgrade on anybody in the squad? So there's much pressure on it not to get it done, but I think we have to feel our gut and we have to be very analytical of what we think is necessary to improve the team, to take the team to a different level. Certainly everybody I think at the club, around the team, our supporters are very happy with the way David has been consistently performing at the highest level in the last few seasons. On how much clarity, brother, I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about that. I definitely don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about that. But yeah, you was comparing us to Liverpool last week, but I don't like to compare to other teams. I need to analyze my team. That's my job. That is your job. Do your job. Big up Southampton. Hope David Raya can get the Golden Glove. Hopefully, obviously, we get 3 points. On how he switches off this summer, nobody at this club can switch off. By all means, take a couple of days, be with your family, get the barbecues out. Consider the good, bad, and the ugly. And, things could be a lot better, but they could always be a lot worse. You, man, need to get to work. Better work. Arteta, work. Simple. There's no rest. If man wanted to switch off, should have won something. You need to reset. In order to do that, there are many parts. You need to rest, and you need to be very convinced and aligned with what you want to do to give yourself the best chance to be where you want to be. Then you need to start to feel that feeling in your tummy, bro. My man loves feeling things in his tummy and gut in it. And that you're willing to come back on day one, fully motivated and fully enthusiastic to go again with the group of players and staff that we have. On how excited he is for next season. That's what we do, innit? I'm excited, but now I need to rest a little bit to calm down and start to make certain decisions in the most efficient way with the right timing to make sure that I can rest. A big part of the rest is when you start to see things are happening and happening in the right timing and in the right decision. And everybody knows, I like you, I'm quite fond of the weird and wacky things you do. The only issue is you manage my football team, so I have to be harsh on you. It's not Arteta thing to the end. I like Arteta a lot. I like you a lot. I like even when you get things wrong. I would love to, I don't know if you're a beer man or wine man or whatever, but I'd love to speak football with you and tactics and all of that. So there's a lot I like about you, but I like my club more. And because I rate you so much, I'm not with the excuses thing. If I never rated you, then I'm not gonna ask that. I'm not like some people. I think people fancy the guy, but yeah, man, I don't want to hear nothing about that. What I do want to hear is about Berta, though. I think he's going to be a big contributor with his experience and the fact that he's already won in very different contexts and the way he's built teams. He's exceptional. I think we have to share that responsibility. And Andrea is going to be a key part to driving the plans and ideas we have and to try and execute them. We are here to support him. Well, yeah, when he's telling you X, Y, Z, allow a minute on how he would summarize this season in one question. I knew that question was coming. When it finishes, I'll do that. If I count one, I might use three. How would I say it in one word? Shit, crap, underwhelming. 2 words, missed opportunity. We go again next season. We might as well embrace it, innit? On being linked with Rodrygo, I wouldn't like to name a player, but the biggest thing is that, and using the word pride, we have brought to the club into a position, into a place that next season you have to win a major trophy. Oh, really? And I'm not trying to catch you out, Gaffer, but again, I make a big case of I only hold the club and people at this club to the standards of what they say, but we're going to need that. So we're saving that. Major trophy, and that means that everyone believes that we have the level, that we have shown the consistency. We're an elite team in this country and in Europe, and if you don't do that, then what's going to happen? For me, that is the biggest statement that Arsenal is there. I mean, yeah, we're in and around there, and I think we've got respect in Europe away from the banter and all the, you know, the pub chat. But brother, silverware, cuz, okay, on whether we should be in the conversation when a player like that is on the market. If you want to win major trophies, you have to be the best in the market. The teams that win have the best players always at this level. Okay, so get them. Yeah, Kai, big up you on getting stronger. On if Kai Havertz's return alters our thinking in the transfer market. I'm not reading that because no. On whether it's a worry that football is binary in terms of success and failure. Yes, because I'm quite a philosophical done. So yes, it is. But at the end of the day, there is that element of winning or losing. Winners win and losers explain. And yeah, you know, arguably when you win, that is the best time to be hungry and try and improve, because the only way is down. When you like you always hear me say it, when you win, you're definitely not as good as you think you are. When you lose, you're definitely not as bad as you think you are. But we've had this explaining and fine margins and adversity and whatnot. Do the other thing. Gaffer, I must admit, I don't want to hear none of that. On dealing with the players, I don't want to hear that. Big up the women who are playing on Saturday. We'll be supporting them. Do you lot want to watch along for that, or do you lot want to watch along for Sheffield United versus, anyways, the playoff final or the Women's Champions League? And obviously, we'll be doing a watch along for Southampton as well. On whether you'd like to keep Partey at the club, yes, I said it many times. On whether he has a number in mind of how many players he wants to bring in, yes, you knew the gaffer weren't going to be drawn on that. We've gone over that comment already. I want Thomas Partey to stay at Arsenal. Is this anything new? I think we've seen that already. See, I don't try and miss anything. Well, you know what? I'd rather it went the other way. But United, as much as I hate Spurs, bro, you lot lacked humility. You lot, Spurs, man. Like we've got the know-how. We're gonna do it. And Spurs. Even in our worst season, we're gonna win the trophy. Arsenal, why are you watching? You stupid Peckham red cunts. Anyways, we've had a better season than Arsenal. Go out and do the job, blood. Do the job, cuz. You man thought you were rolling Champions League. You thought because you gate crashed. The only reason you're in Europa League is because you gate crashed the FA Cup. Fuck Spurs, but you thought you were rolling. You're not rolling. Rebuild settings. You might win the League Cup next year. But anyways, people, allegedly, Arsenal will look to sign AC Milan forward Rafael if Martinelli leaves. Any of us believe that? Any of us? Look at the investment in the attack, though, man. Come on. Evidently, bro. 80 million euros. Now, obviously, some teams have spent more, but come on, kiddie, man. That's not what it's supposed to be about. One love for the super chat, my brother. Brian, appreciate you. DG, what's a better season? Second, no trophies, and 8th in FA Cup. I think we devalue the cups. That's why I asked. For the fans, you'd rather just win a cup. You don't really care about where you finish. Like, you really don't. In terms of psychological and philosophical factors and seeing a guide point as to where your club is at, for those that, you know, want to have that conversation or work at the club, quote unquote, a cup can paper over cracks. And it can be, you know, somewhat of a tonic, but also, you know, you need to look at where you're at. But for the fans, yeah, bro, fans at base level, bro, man, don't care about. Like, if you're a Spurs fan, obviously you care about being 17th or 16th, and obviously you care a lot more if you didn't win the Europa, but it's a thing where we won a trophy. Obviously, we're vexed. We can't have another season like that. Man, when, you know, we enjoy the next 72 hours or whatever, but next season can't thingy like that. But history's been made, and that's all you care about. You want to slag off if you're a Spurs fan, your Arsenal supporting brethren, you know, the highs and lows and everything. Like, to see everybody in like on Tottenham High Road coming out the pub and doing all of that. That's all you want as a fan, isn't it? Really. But yeah, appreciate that, man. But yeah, the cups. Should have been picking up cups. We might have been like, I think people might have. I still think people would say you ain't won the Prem with the champs, or Arteta, you ain't won the Prem with the champs. But you pick up them domestic cups there, it buys you something, really and truly. It really does. The Athletic have come out with a think piece, people. Arsenal transfers. Futures of Martinelli and Trossard may prove key to summer plans. For all the talk about the number 9, we're going to try and skip through the toss. We know the Tosh people. We all know our interest in Nico Williams is long-standing and well-known. We've been linked with Jamie Gittins of Dortmund. Speculation over the futures of Martinelli and Trossard, valuable assets who could strengthen Arsenal's budget during the transfer window. For the time being, both remain part of Mikel Arteta's plans. We'll be keen to see if Martinelli gets a new deal. We don't actually know what's going on with Trossard. You know, social media fans are saying, you know, his wife was basically saying goodbye to the other wags. 1 minute he's going to get a new deal, then he's not. Saudi interest, we don't know anything, people. And for all clubs, you know, it's getting to that point of the season. Get ready for all them things. As part of his first few months in the job, Andrea Burr has held talks with the reps of virtually every Arsenal squad member, including Martinelli and Trossard. The message to Martinelli has been that Arsenal intend to keep their best players and count the Brazilian among them. Although his contract technically expires in 2027, Arsenal hold an option of an additional year and do not consider the situation urgent. No significant talks have been held over an extension. Do you reckon he has a year to show that he's deserving of such an extension? This being football, though, things can change. If a huge offer arrives, one that is also attractive to Martinelli, plans could shift. I mean, you don't know how much I love Martinelli, our Brazilian Crash Bandicoot, but what offers are coming? We'll make a profit, or I hope so, on the 6 million, but huge offer, really? Really? And would you necessarily want to leave? For a lot of players, it's a World Cup year. Some are going to want to move to boost their chances. Some are going to want to stay put. That will not be easy to come. The group of elite clubs he would be prepared to join, is relatively small, and considering he is effectively has 3 years left on his deal, Arsenal value him above 50 million. Martinelli did move to us at 18, big him up for that. But again, we're trying to, you know, the Athletic do like to put a lot of waffles. So I'm just trying to get the key parts. Trossard's situation is slightly different simply because he's at a different stage in his career. The Belgium international is 30 and will be aware that his next big contract could be his last at the elite level. His reps have been engaged in talks with Berta over his contract, which is set to run until 2027. Those conversations, however, do not center on an extension, but on an uplift in salary. Maybe I'm just, like I said, I'm just an armchair expert, but isn't an uplift in salary an extension, or is he going to get more money but the same length of deal? Does that make sense? I don't know, man. Or maybe it's a thing where I'm Trossard saying I'm on signing a new deal, but I need more paper. Arsenal have recognized for some time that Trossard's contract does not reflect his standing within the squad, really, and are now engaged in negotiations to put that right. If an agreement can be struck, it can be an ideal outcome for Arteta and Arsenal, enabling them to keep a player who's shown he can be a potential difference maker without necessarily committing to an extended contract. What? Pardon me. More money, same length. What's the point of that? What's the point of that, though? At least more money, same length, but an option. Surely, I don't know, man. Like, I'm confused as well, bro. I don't know about that one. I don't know. I don't know about that one, man. Please let me know your thoughts. I don't know. As with Martinelli, an attractive offer from elsewhere could change things. Trossard has previously fielded interest from Saudi Arabian clubs, but also has admirers among Europe's biggest leagues. If one of those submitted an appropriate offer, Trossard's age and contract situation, mean the club and the player would have to consider it. There are other wide players at Arsenal whose futures appear clear. The less said about you, the better. 2 hamstring injuries, 1 in each leg. Damn, severely limited Reece Nelson's opportunities to make a prolonged impact during his time at Fulham. He'll again be permitted to explore opportunities to leave the club, but as was the case last summer, Arsenal would prefer a permanent deal. As an academy player, selling Nelson would be booked as pure profit. Is anyone going to be running around with offers for Nelson? Marquinhos, 22, is on loan with Caruso until December. The Brazilian side are keen to renegotiate the terms of his loan to allow him to play more games without triggering a purchase option. Brother, we come on, paper. Stop messing about paper. Another factor consider in Arsenal's pursuit of a winger is the future of Wanyeri. Arsenal are talking to the 18-year-old about a new contract, and a clear pathway to regular first team minutes is a clear consideration. Wanyeri has exhibited a clear ability to play off the right flank during Bukayo Saka's absence. Do Arsenal see him continuing there, or are they prepared to shift him inside to his more natural roles at 8? There's no debate about Arsenal's need for a striker. I mean, if any, have you ever read an article that confuses you more than anything? He's on 90k. Is that enough for what he gives the club? Maybe not. Seems weird not to extend, of course, but there is an option anyways. I hear it. I'm genuinely baffled. Like, I've never... Trossard's laughing. If you get more money and the same length of contract, Arsenal might renew that or put an option or renew it next year, or you could still walk. You're laughing. But if we're meant to be patterning the PSR and whatnot, and you're going to commit to giving Partey a new deal allegedly, Trossard more money, Zubimendi's coming in, we ain't got no Gyökeres or Zubimendi, no Zubimendi, Gyökeres, Nico Williams, but that's going to uptake things. And on paper, you're going to have to shift the Zinnies, the Fabio Vieiras, the Lokongas, the this one, the that one. Some are obviously going to leave. Some are going to want to leave. But then playing devil's advocate, surely Arsenal need to shift them on more. Like, you look at Zinchenko. I'm not trying to lead a hate campaign. But what if you're Zinchenko and you're thinking, A, my family is comfortable in London. 2, I was an Arsenal fan. 3, the manager, I might not be getting the football I want, but the manager rates me. I'm cool here. Maybe the manager, and I think a lot of players might be looking at this, because what's one thing Arteta could have learned this season beyond the obvious? Maybe to rotate and be a bit clever in that regard. Maybe they're thinking, right, maybe this season showed the manager that, hey, he can use me in midfield, he can use me. Maybe I think I'm not going to get these wages elsewhere, so I'm running down this deal, getting my loyalty bonus. Whatever happens next season happens. I'm walking on the free. Again, I'm not saying this is the case, because I think these guys will want to move, and I think Zinni will go, but could you argue it's Arsenal need to move these dons on a lot more than we need to get rid of them? I hear the selling Trossard thing, but for me, I wouldn't sanction Martinelli or Trossard going until I see a winger confirmed through the door. That's just me. And also, you got Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz earn a lot of money. Be interesting to see how we're going to flex and maneuver, man. Arsenal are not the only English club considering signing Rodrygo. 2 Premier League clubs are also interested. His price will be 80 million euros. No clue on the wages, but what's 80 million euros? About 70 odd million quid. If it's up to me, I'd do it. Yesterday, Sky Germany did say Arsenal are considering him, but then you hear a lot of rumors. Chelsea are interested, PSG are interested. Rodrygo wants to stay. New talks around a new deal. Who knows, man? What's going on? I'd love him to sign for Arsenal, and then come to find out when we played them at the Bernabeu or them at the Emirates, that's when the talk started. I don't know, people. So yeah, man, it seems like it's going to be a long summer. We all know Rodrygo isn't going to be a future that is resolved quickly, people. And as he even had a conversation with Xabi Alonso, Rodrygo's agents contacted Arsenal to offer the player services. Arsenal were immediately interested. So again, that could be trying to get their client a new deal. That also could be using alleged interest to pressure Real Madrid to know how he figures in their plans. And again, has he, I don't know, and I know you lot can't answer this, has he had a conversation with Xabi Alonso? Because are you going to make any decision on your future until you speak with the new incoming coach? What if Xabi Alonso says the system I'm going to play, I'm going to build it around you, you're going to be the guy, etc.? I don't know, people. Championship sides coming up could use Reece. But is Reece Nelson going to... You're on 100k a week at Arsenal. Are you going to sign for those clubs knowing you might go down? I don't know with Nelson, man. I'll be amazed. But, you know, you hope for a cut price departure. I think anything could happen. You could see a reality of a cut price Reece Nelson departure, another loan. Somehow it feels like him and Fabio Vieira are ones that you could just find out they're still at the club come the start, well, the close of the transfer market. The arrival of Nico Williams at Real Madrid would signal the departure of Rodrygo. Apparently, they're even more aggressively getting linked with him. 80 million euros equates to 67.5 million quid. Fair enough, get that done. Little profit on the 39.3 million Real Madrid paid for him. So, yeah. And again, on Rodrygo, Arteta did say, I won't name any specific players, but we have brought the club into a position that next season you have to win a major trophy. Everybody believes we're an elite team in this country. I don't know about elite. I think we're a good team. I think people, even haters, like they can call us bottlers, but they will say in the heart of hearts, we're a good team. Or people that work within football will. Elite team does elite things on a consistent basis. We have to add goals, creativity, and we have to add numbers, and that will be in different positions. I hope you ring true with all of this, because Arteta, I've got a lot more time for you than a lot of people, but you've seemed quite bullish, and I do think a lot of us Arsenal fans are past the point of not just you, unless Berta comes out and talks. Everyone's tired of the chatting stuff now. Like, just do it now. Just do it. We've been linked with Julián Alvarez, who's still linked with Barcelona. Apparently, Arsenal and Liverpool are among the clubs keen on signing Julián Alvarez from Atletico Madrid at the end of the season. The 25-year-old is one of the best strikers in La Liga, and he could be an exceptional acquisition for the Premier League club. Would you want to depart sunny Spain to come back to England after just a year? I don't know, man. Stranger things have happened. According to a report from El Chiriguito, I tried, people. Meetings will begin with the clubs interested in Alvarez next week. The Spanish club could consider selling the player if a substantial offer is presented. Or maybe, again, if you're Alvarez, are you sitting there to Atletico and saying, you know what, Barca on me, apparently Liverpool and Arsenal on me, I've been a good striker. Maybe we can talk about renewals. I don't know, people. Liverpool need a forward as much as us. I don't believe this, though, man. I don't even know. How much did they spend on him? I don't know, man, but he's a good player for what it's worth. For what it's worth, they paid 95 million euros. What's that? Like 80 odd, end the 70s, early 80s. Really? I can't say I believe it. Arsenal are targeting players they believe are currently undervalued but have a significant potential. Garcia and Buemo, Sesko all fit that profile, allegedly. Chelsea holds strong interest in Hugo Ekitike. Liverpool and Arsenal are in the race, people. RMC understands that the Bundesliga side will demand 80 to 100 million euros. Premier League sides have already established contact with the player, and apparently he's decided to leave, people. Chelsea's interest is strong. The Blues aren't the only ones in the race. Liverpool and Arsenal are also interested. PSG will also pocket some money in any deal, 20% of profits made on the German from the Premier League club, people. Apparently, we've opened talks. I've gone over this before. I'm not going to quite bore you lot with that. Man City are closely following a young Argentine who could step into the void left by Alvarez, and they hope to beat Arsenal and United to it. Is that the Moscato, brother? Maher Carrizo. Apparently, City have opened talks. He's got a deal until 2026, and he could be available for 60 mil. I mean, if he's a market opportunity in which Arsenal United are also following him, why not, man? You've seen Altraverdi go over there. Did they not sign an Argentine lad and they're selling him to Como as well after he's barely played for them? We were linked with João Pedro last week. Well, better yet, the last few days. Romano said he can leave Brighton in the summer as he's open to a new chapter of his career. Premier League top clubs are aware of the opportunity for the potential transfer fee of around 70 million euros, but final decision up to Brighton. Romano's also said it's one to watch this summer. Mikel Arteta allegedly has been a key driver in wanting Partey to stay at Arsenal, and a short-term deal is being discussed. The midfielder had a major offer from the UAE, which is camp put on one side, while Atletico Madrid also made an effort. So we'll have to see what happens there. We talk about market opportunities. Anyone who's watched this at youth level, you know how good he is. Noah Darvik, he could be leaving Barcelona. That's a market opportunity Arsenal need to explore and join the Leverkusens and Stuttgarts in that, people. We also heard before Xabi Alonso obviously left Leverkusen for Real Madrid, the German club have been in a strong position to sign Garcia. Apparently Newcastle, Barcelona, Chelsea, United have all emerged as options, and Arsenal believe he no longer sees himself as a number 2 goalkeeper, people. We've also heard we're reportedly on the verge of wrapping up a deal for Gyökeres. Apparently it will cost 55 million. We hear this all the time. Real Madrid have entered the race to sign Nico Williams. At least it's a new club, and we all know that they want to add a Spanish core. We have been linked with Buemo as well. His ability to play both as a winger and a striker is an appealing asset for Arsenal as they look to strengthen their attack next season. Additionally, the Cameroon international has proven himself to be a consistent goal scorer in the top flight, while his pressing and intensity are qualities that would greatly benefit Arsenal's style of play. What do you lot make of that? We've gone over that already. Arsenal's transfer strategy for attackers has been out has been for Berta to lay the groundwork on multiple targets so the trigger can be pulled on a unanimous decision. Berta has spoken to over 15 attackers and it will prevent a signing like Raheem Sterling. As part of his first few months in the job, Berta has held talks with the reps of virtually every single Arsenal player. Fair enough. We've gone over that. I really want João Pedro. Jamie Gittins is still linked with us. Apparently, we're leading the race. This week, we have been linked with Newcastle United's Anthony Gordon, who's got an £80 million release clause on his shoulders. Flamengo are exploring a deal to sign Jorginho from Arsenal early for the Club World Cup. We all know his contract's expiring and he seems to be heading back to Brazil. Arteta allegedly had Zoom calls with Garcia last summer. The plan was for Garcia to be Arsenal's number 2 and playing the cup games. Arsenal's data team sees goalkeepers as an underdeveloped market and an opportunity for value and profit. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that one there is panning out. Carl Hein could be on the move. We've gone over that. Deco has spoken about Nico Williams. He said Nico's a top player, but last summer, Dani Almo really wanted to come to Barcelona, showed confidence in the project, and so it made it easier for us. Nico did not do that, so we'll have to see what's happening there. Is there any new developments? Hey, come on, link us with Lionel Messi. One can dream, right? So there's nothing there. We've gone over that already. Gyökeres might be the wrong choice for Arsenal. Les said that. He's definitely the right one, man. You lot know how much of a fan I am of Ryan Cherky. He's still consistently getting linked with clubs. Real Madrid are not going away from Nico Williams. Is there anything else here? Allegedly, Mikel Arteta has held direct talks with Nico Williams in order to present his project to the player court side on the stands. Sources have indicated that Arteta's pitch looks to have put them in a commanding position to sign Williams. Believe it when I see it, if I'm honest with you. And apparently we're looking at a young Scottish goalkeeper. We're loving a young goalkeeper recently, innit? We tried to get one from Chelsea. Obviously, we linked with this one who we're going to get onto. Jack Porter. Again, I think England play on Saturday. Dolman and Porter are in action against Belgium in the Under-17s Championship. Rangers face a fight to keep hold of talented young goalkeeper Ridden Maguire. The 17-year-old starred as the young Jers side won the Glasgow Cup last month. Seen as one with high potential, he has been in and around the first team at different stages over the last campaign. Apparently, Arsenal, Everton, and Ipswich are tracking him. Obviously, owing to Brexit, them kind of sides is cash money to Arsenal, really and truly. So, really, we'll have to see what's going on there, people. But let me get back in. Pardon me. We should be aiming for 3 strikers, then we'll get 2 for sure. You know, we're not getting 2. Let's get 1 through the door first, man. You're moving mad, Adam. Berta with 150 players, huh? 15 attackers. I thought it was 15 targets. Sorry, 15 targets. Don't think Premier League proven strikers get us over the line, especially if they couldn't win the league for their current club. Be harsh. I would love Ryan Cherky, man. I did see Julián Alvarez's free kick. Quality player, man. We're in the race for every damn player. It'd be nice to win a race, innit? Any 200 grand a week player coming in needs to be on the team sheet for Germany, Italy, Spain. Williams is 240, so it's not a problem for him. That Vinny wants to play left wing. Just get me the players, man. DG, let's go for Cherky, instant level raiser. We're setting ourselves up for disappointment. I don't know why, but I just don't think we fancy him. Rodrygo gives me Alexis vibes. I'd be gassed, but I don't think he's as good as Alexis was at the point of entry. But you never know. You leave Real Madrid, you join the next club, we see a bit more about you. It's not about players, it's about culture. United do not have a club culture to run the 3 at the back. United fans better not show their face. Losing a final to Spuds, even if it's Europa, is a disgrace. Lokonga is the hardest sell. I hear you, DG. We might not shift all those guys, but if we do it should be enough to fund what we want. I'm not expecting us to get rid of everyone, but the vast majority of that has to be done because you got Tierney leaving. That's 100 grand off the wage bill. Jorginho's probably on something healthy. You shift Nelson on. That's 100 odd bags. And then you do what you can. I don't expect everyone to leave, though, man. Fabio Vieira, Lokonga, Nelson. Obviously, Berta's a hustler, but there's not too much. United fans, please don't show your face. Shame is free. There's no way you can laugh at us. And even if you're laughing at Arsenal, you're hurting from yesterday, bro. Do a watch along for the playoff. I know you're tired of Arsenal heartbreak, fam. Now that game, Barca are going to slap them. So are we doing playoffs or the women's game? I let the people them decide. trophies is what makes big clubs big. Not really, because there's well-supported clubs. I think Newcastle, I know Newcastle have won a trophy, but it's their first in 7 years. I think they're a massive club. They're not littered with silverware. And I just think the whole big club stuff, yeah. Let's be honest, it's just a whole, it's all that chat of my dad will beat up yours, mine is bigger than yours. It's tired, bro, because what defines it? Because, yeah, you could talk about fan base, global fan base, trophies. It's tired, man. Like, it's tired. It's tired, man. And regardless of what team you support, it's going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread. Really tried to understand the Sane sexuals. Hooks, you have mail, mate. It reeks of Sterling the year after he posted a 16 GA. If worse comes to worse, it is what it is. Who cares about Sheffield? I need some silverware at my club. Damn. Watch along for the women's. I can't lie. Watch alongs for the women's. Fair enough. Fair enough. Alvarez 55 million, Rodrygo 85, Zuba 52, Hato 30, Sane 3. You're dream chasing, my boy. Do we really? I don't think we're spending 300 odd million quid, man. To be fair, both of our players have come back quickly, man. Again, as I keep saying, I feel sorry for the players, man. This is the most direct Arteta has ever been. We have to be in for Rodrygo. We have to win next year. Relying on Kai is not enough. We need more firepower. But Timber gets mad props for his performance this season, recovering from an ACL and coping with an ankle injury, yet still shutting down players. Shout out to him. Robbo, one love. As long as Arteta is at Arsenal, I'm genuinely not bothered. That guy don't have the minerals to win. The sample size is big enough. It just has to prove you wrong, man, but it's valid. Once again, players playing through injuries. Hope that liquor hits extra hard this afternoon. Riley's forcing it, but I hear it, man. When HMRC are onto you, Riley, yeah? Like, okay, I now understand what you mean by cult. At the end of the day, we all want success from the club, irrespective of those managing. Yeah, and that's the thing. But, and I always say, I don't tell you what to think. Just think. You can believe Arteta is the best thing since sliced bread. You can believe he's shit. You can be in the middle as long as you can translate your opinion. But just don't think your opinions are facts. And you are right. With Sky Germany speaking about Rodrygo, I'm at the point, I'm only going to believe Arsenal going to win trophies when I see us doing that, which hasn't happened in 5 years. I'll only believe Sesko, Alvarez, Rodrygo, this one, that one, when I see they're holding shirts and doing interviews in the new merch. So, yeah, you'll smash the like. DG isn't going to deduct money out your wages. Come on, tell them again, man. 185 in the chat and only 77 likes. Get on to them, man. Get on to them. What a picture of Trent. Get on to them, man. It is what it is, man. Can't guarantee anything, Arsenal fans or football fans, but what I can guarantee is week in, week out, I'll be here. We'll be here. Can we get to 200 likes? Dream chasing, but, 117. Big up you lot. Rodrygo's dream is over. He's staying at Madrid, probably. Who do Bayern want to sign for them to want this Rodrygo move to happen? Why does he speak like he can't work out what's happening? He's the person that has Arsenal in this mess. We hear that about 8 Arsenal players could be on the move. Question is, even if 5 of them go, do we have enough money to get 5 better replacements? I hope so, my brother. My boy. These are questions that can't be answered, man. I hear you, P. The women's game it is. Liverpool. Oh, Liverpool's a massive club. Like the whole... I have all the things to care about in this life, let alone football. This whole my club's bigger than yours and your club is small and this, that, and the other. Oh, it's tired, bro. Man can sit here and say Chelsea and City are small clubs because in my lifetime they were deemed as that, but then they're not. Like, it is what it is, man. But yeah, on that note, though, I'm sure we've been here for 90 minutes. I'm sure you lot are bored of hearing my voice. Thank you for your talking points, your banter, your differences of opinions. Appreciate you lot, especially you lot who've subscribed and smashed the like button. In terms of the transfer news part of this stream, I always cull it up because I know some of you just want to get into the proper bits of it, so I'll cut that up and get out of here. So yeah, man, turn on your notification bells and all of that across the weekend. It's watch along settings. Come on.